Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live chat, Lattes with Laken. I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to answer any questions that you have about goals, planning life, whatever it is. This is one of my favorite times of the week to just sit down and hang out with you. It's been almost 2 years. Can you believe it? We started this in March of 2020 when everyone was just stuck at home, and I thought it would be fun, and it has just developed and been such a joy for me over the last 2 years, and I am so excited to continue. I am going to kick it off with our first question, which is, what are you drinking? If you are here live, thank you for watching live and joining live. I'm glad you're able to fit it into your schedule. Let us know in the chat what it is that you're drinking while we're hanging out together today. And if you're catching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. I appreciate you. Let us know in the comments what it is that you are drinking while you're catching the replay. All right. By the way, I have a latte, like just an actual latte. I use part oat milk, part half and half for my milk part of my latte when I make it at home. Also, I'm using my engagement mug. I've been on a kick using all the wedding mugs. I have all of 2 wedding mugs in my house. But I've been basically bouncing back and forth between these 2. This was the one that my mom gave me. She had it ready to go for the day after we got engaged. Obviously, my mom knew it was happening. I had no idea. All right, Dr. Pepper and water, lots of water. I also have my water with me, ready to go. Some tea, a second cup of coffee, Dr. Pepper cream soda. Ooh, Ariel. I don't know that I've ever had that. I'm not a big bubbles person anyways, but Rachel, I'm so happy to see you in the chat. Welcome back. So excited. Coke Zero and water, green tea with honey. Sophie, thank you for sharing your name, and thank you for reminding me that if your YouTube name or your Facebook name, if you're watching on Facebook, is not the same as your actual name that you go by, let me know when you leave a comment what your name is. I will do my best to remember, Sophie, now that you've already shared, if you ask a question, but I just like being able to address you by your name. I appreciate that. Coffee and some weird greens drink because veggies are hard. Veggies are hard, Tina. Veggies are definitely hard. Water and a root beer, Coke Zero, a matcha latte. Kelsey, thank you for sharing your name. Iced Americano. So fun. All right, y'all. I love that. I love hearing everything that you guys are drinking when we kick this off. I'm trying to make the comment go away. It's not going away. All right, let's jump into it. What questions do you have? What do you want to chat about today? You can ask a question. You can say just a topic. If there's a topic that you want to chat about, we can just talk about a topic. Whatever it is that you want to talk about today. See the temperature of this. I literally just made it, so it's probably a little hot. Oh, actually, it's absolutely perfect. Rachel, how excited are you for your wedding? Spill everything. I mean, I am excited. We got there's one more big outstanding thing that I haven't checked off yet. That's kind of stressing me out. I know it's in 2 weeks, so I get it. 2.5. So there's just the one thing that we haven't checked off that's kind of driving me a little bit bananas, but otherwise, we've got everything. It's just the little details at this point. I just got an email from cake people about delivery times that I've got to respond to. It just feels like little things come up every day, but it's coming. It's good. I am getting excited. Officially 17 days until the wedding, Carla. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it is 2.5 weeks away. Lisa, I'm still working on that blue skies. Nope. Yeah, blue winter sky. It smells good. I've been really on it. I've always loved candles. You guys know that. And the one time that I made a goal to work on candles specifically, and now it's pretty much a habit, and I don't go to another room without bringing the lighter with me. And someday I will have a lighter in every room. For now, I just carry my lighter with me, and I pretty much always light a candle no matter which room I'm in. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm going through them super fast, but that's okay because I have a lot of them. Oh, Amy, this is a fun question. Who would be your top 3 dream planner, goal, etc. speakers to hear at a conference? I do think somebody asked me this before, and I didn't necessarily come up with planner people, but you did say goal, and I thought of it as authors. So my top 3 goal authors that I love, that I would love to hear live, are Kendra Adachi from The Lazy Genius, Judy Holler, who wrote Fear's My Homeboy, and then John Acuff, who wrote soundtracks. And I know all 3 of those people. Well, Judy and John for sure speak. I would love to see all of them live. Jamie, how do you get past when you feel worn out, I'm assuming is what you meant, or bummed out when things don't work out the way you want them to? So when something doesn't happen the way you want them to, it's usually one of two things. One is it was completely not within your control, and your expectations of that, how that turned out, didn't get met. And but if it was not within your control, then give yourself the time that you need to grieve that and be frustrated, but then realize that there was nothing you could have done about it, and you just have to move forward from there. If it is something that was within your control, just ask yourself, how can I make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future? How can I make sure that I don't ever feel this way again? And then same thing, take the time that you need to move past that. You're allowed to be bummed out. You're allowed to be frustrated. Take the time that you need to feel those feelings. And then what is the next right step? Just one step. Don't worry about the whole mountain, the whole staircase. What is the one next step that you can take to get out of that? Andrea, 18 days sounds so close, but 2.5 weeks sounds further away. I know. 2.5 weeks feels much further. No, yeah, than 18 days. But the other piece of it too is I have multiple dates in my head, right? So I have the date that I'm actually leaving to go down to Texas. If you are new here or you didn't know, we are getting married. We live in New York City. We're getting married in Texas, which is where we're both from. And I'm leaving next Saturday. So I'm leaving in 10 days, 7 to go to Texas. So that's the number and the closeness that's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Oh, your daughter got engaged yesterday. Congrats to her. So yeah, listening to wedding plans from a new perspective all of a sudden. That is so fun. What part of being married are you looking forward to the most? At first it's not really going to change our lives all that much, right? We already live together. It isn't going to change all that much. I think for me, it's that next phase, right? Like starting a family and that next phase of progressing after we get married, not necessarily being married. I guess I'm also excited to not be engaged anymore. I literally did the math today, y'all. We will have been engaged for, this is so weird, 888 days. The number of days from this date until our wedding date is 888 days. We will have been engaged. So what's your win for this week? I made 2 hard phone calls today. And you'll appreciate this, Cheney. I got back to 30-minute rides on the Peloton. I, for the longest time, was still just doing 20 minutes since I had my injury. And I finally got back to 30-minute rides this week because there's a couple new Disney ones that I really wanted to do. It's still struggling for sure. And I'm still doing mostly low impact, not really coming out of the saddle and putting all that weight on my foot. Unless I just really need to give my bum a break. But I got back to 30 minutes this week, which felt really good. How's memory keeping going? It's not. I don't know where I talked about this. If I'm sure I mentioned this somewhere. I'm letting it go for now. For now, memory keeping is on the back burner until who knows when. What is your opinion on setting systems versus a goal when you want an entire refresh? So I'm not 100% sure what you're asking here. I don't know if you mean an entire life refresh. I think that setting systems is just a type of goal. That setting up a system for whatever it is a type of goal. And touching on the part where you mentioned the entire refresh, you cannot change everything about your life massively at the same time. There is no way that you can make massive changes all at once. So you have to figure out if you are the kind of person that is going to make small changes in lots of areas, or are you going to make a big change in one area? You pretty much have to decide between those two methods, unless all you're doing is focusing on goals. If you don't have any other responsibilities, which most of us do not have that luxury. If you have other responsibilities, then it's deciding, do I want to pick one goal and make massive change, or do I want to pick multiple goals and make little changes? What is the best thing that happened this week, personal and professional? This is a hard question, I feel like. Because I mean, there's not a whole lot. Personal, we're going to lunch tomorrow or on Friday with a couple that we have been trying to hang out with for months. It feels like we've been trying to do a double date with them for a very long time. And then either they're out of town or we're out of town or there's a conflict, they got sick. Like there just has been one thing after the other. And we just haven't been able to see them. So it hasn't happened yet, but it's happening in 2 days. That's my like personal thing that I'm most looking forward to this week. And then professionally, I had a really great call yesterday with a company that I might work with on something. And I don't know if it's going to happen or what's going to come from it, but it was a great call. Rachel, great question. I have a big interview tomorrow, sending you all the good luck, and it would require you to move. So you're worried about your YouTube consistency. Your job, your life comes first, right? And so if that means that your YouTube frequency posting has to change, that's fine. Consistent doesn't have to mean at the same time or the same number of times a week as you were doing before. If you've been around, I know you have, I have changed the number of videos I've posted in a week multiple times. We've gone from 3 to 4, I think back to 3. I think we did 2 at one point, and then back to 3, and then 4 at one point, back to 3. Like it has been all over the place. If you have to change what you're doing now, that's fine. And just pick a new consistency that you can work with your new job. And if that consistency for a bit is like once a month until you get your feet under you with your new job and move and all those things, then maybe that's what it is. And you batch in advance so you don't have to worry about it for a couple of months. But consistent doesn't have to mean whatever you're doing now. Feel free to change it. Debbie, did I see that you do group coaching? Can you tell me more about it? So I did just finish we have one more call of the first round of group coaching. So it's still a very much in the beta phase. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to make it work. And I am doing another round of it starting at the end of March. And I did share the information with Patreon today. That's probably what you're referencing. You probably got an email about it because you're a member of Patreon. That's where I'm sharing the information first. All the information is in that Patreon post. And if you have any questions, you can comment on that post or you can come message me on Instagram and we can chat more about it. It is the same program as the one-on-one coaching. So the same 8 sessions, just in a group setting. And so the individual time that you and I would be talking is going to be less than if it were a one-on-one call, and everybody will be listening and chatting around, like listening to each other's coaching session. If that makes sense. Caitlin, are you taking his last name? I am. Yeah. I'm not excited about that process about changing my name, but I am excited to have the same last name. What is your middle name? My middle name is Nicole right now, and I'm going to keep Nicole. Have you tried the lane breaker that they just released? I did a 20 minute today and wanted to give a 12-minute mark. I'm assuming you're asking about Peloton, Janie. I don't know what that means, what lane breaker is. So no, I have not tried it. Is Peloton worth the cost? Holly, this is a really tough question to answer because it is, worth is very subjective to each individual person. So what is worth it to somebody may or may not be worth it to somebody else on literally anything in life. So it is really, really tough. For me, Peloton is 100% worth it. I like that style of working out. I like the accountability of Peloton. I like having it in my living room. There's a lot of it that I like. But if those things aren't true for you, then it might not be worth the cost. It also depends on where you live and what your other options were. When we got the Peloton, we were members of a really expensive gym here in New York City where we were paying a ridiculous amount of money in total for the two of us that with the Peloton, it was like a fifth of the price that we cut. So for us, it was actually a massive savings from the gym membership. So it is really hard to answer that question. Everybody is just going to have to do the research. And if you know, what works best for you, to decide if it's worth it. Hannah, is the cost of group coaching somewhere? It is on the Patreon post. If you're a member of Patreon, all the details are there on that post. I will always, especially when I'm doing it, like it's still new and I'm still figuring it out, I'm releasing it to Patreon first. If the spots do not fill up with the Patreon community, then I will release them to everybody. Holly, I kept my last name because that process was such a pain. Oh my goodness. I think I said this before, but as a child who had parents that had different last names than her growing up, it was very difficult and frustrating. And so I don't want that for my future children. Elise, thanks for joining a live. I answered this question already, but it's fast. There's 17 days until the wedding. Heather, I'm struggling with urgent to-dos over hard to-dos. I want to do the hard things in the morning, but urgent things take precedent, and then I end up procrastinating. So this happens, like there are days that this will just happen, but if it's happening regularly, I would ask yourself about those urgent to-dos. How urgent are they? Like if something urgent is popping up almost every single day, is that really urgent? Does that need to happen before your hard to-dos that you want to check off? If the answer is still yes, I would encourage you to do some of the hard to do. Can you do like 30 minutes and then move on to the urgent thing? Like, will that urgent thing still like be urgent, be a thing in 30 minutes? Like the world's not gonna explode. I would do some of the hard thing and then move into the urgent thing, because I feel the same way. If I just save all the hard things, I will end up not doing them. And so I would just kind of look into, really, is that super urgent? Can I do some of the hard things first? Oh, Lane Breaker, it's the new game. Oh, I have seen pictures of this places on Peloton. It's like, looks like Guitar Hero on a Peloton. Yeah. Andrea, join the No BS challenge going on this month. I didn't expect, but it helps me move towards my goals. Thoughts on adding the tending list, though originally not on there this month. You totally could add it. I thought the challenge started next week, and so you could still add it to your March tending list. You can always add things. If you have space on your tending list, or even not, you'll actually see this in my goals video. I actually added something to my tending list without a space, but I crossed one off. Like I crossed one of the dailies off, and then I added a daily to the bottom. MJ, was there something specific that made you pick a wedding day in March? I guess in Canada, it's still winter, early spring. It's not ideal. In Texas, it is very ideal. I posted it wasn't a joke, but a screenshot today of the city we're getting married in has like rain. It's like in the 30s today, but yesterday it was in the 70s. It is expected to be in the 70s where we're planning to get married. You wait too much longer and it is going to be hot and like miserable in Texas. So in Texas, the wedding seasons are more the spring and the fall, because that's when the weather is beautiful. Do I have the bike or the bike plus? I have the bike plus. Any recommendations for baby gym goers? I hate working out, but need to create an active outlet. I joined a gym, but always freeze when I walk in. Okay, so number one, first thing regarding working out, the best advice, tip, anything related to working out is doing something that you don't necessarily hate. I know that is easier said than done. If you don't like any kind of working out, then it can be really, like, that can be hard, but forcing yourself to do something that you absolutely despise just because it's good for you is going to be a lot worse in the long run, frankly. However, if you join the gym, there's nothing you can do. Let's talk about tips for actually going to the gym. There are some tips. There is a YouTuber that I watch called Nikki Gets Fit. I've talked about her before. I recommend her channel. She actually just posted a video about her like fitness journey when she was starting to lose weight, and not that this tip will work for you, because she is childless and works for herself, so she could do this. She would go to the gym at like really late at night or really early in the morning when it was much, much, much more empty. And she was able to be there by herself and not worry about other people. I think number two is having a plan before you go in. So whether that is, I'm going to walk straight to the treadmill and I'm going to do 10 minutes on the treadmill, or I'm going to walk straight to this machine and I'm going to do this thing. Like, look up and make a plan before you go in. Remind yourself, you do not have to go be there for hours to make it worth it. Maybe someday you'll build your way up to being there for hours, but start with a smaller session. Start with a shorter session, and then you can work your way up. I had one more tip, but it just like escaped me. I don't know. Something is better than nothing. Like if you join the gym with the intention of like doing specific types of workouts or hitting specific areas of your body, like something is better than nothing. So work on the habit of going to the gym and doing something, and then you can always try and transition into whatever it is that you want to focus on. Oh, it does start next week. Yeah, so it technically is a March thing. Are you saying you already did your March attending list? I mean, you could totally still add it. Yes, March is going to be a beautiful time of year, hopefully. Yes. Oh my gosh, so excited. Oh my gosh, Amy, you haven't changed your name yet because you wanted to get your Canadian permanent residency. So now you changed your name in 2 countries. Oh, that's tough. That is super tough. Yeah, Debbie, the No BS Challenge it's a weight loss program. I've talked about it before in prior videos. If you want to start with the free stuff, losing 100 pounds with Corinne is the place to start. This is also a really good tip, Jennifer, if you can fit this in your budget. Scheduling a personal trainer for them to show you around the gym and learn some new workout routines, for sure. That's a really, really great. Some gyms will offer like the first session with a personal trainer for free just to show you around and then also try to sell you on more personal training sessions. But you could take advantage of that to like learn more about how to work the gym. Also, another thought, you could find a gym buddy, like whether that's a spouse or a friend, child, parent, a sibling, somebody who also wants to work out and go to the gym together and do that together. Okay. I think I'm all caught up on questions. Ooh, here's a fun tip. Consider Camp Gladiator if they have it in your area. It's outdoor group exercise. I've been doing it for almost a year. I have fun and love the people. That's super fun. I do tend to enjoy like more group type settings, which Peloton does give me that vibe to some extent. But I like group classes. So if you can take classes at your gym, if your gym offers classes, that's also really, really good option. And taking, having them set up whatever it is that you're going to do. What are your wedding colors? Will you be sharing pictures after the fact? I will definitely share pictures. I've said this in a few places. I'm not 100% sure what or how much I'm going to share in general about the wedding, but I definitely will share something. I'm not just going to like talk about a wedding for 2.5 years and then not share anything. But I just don't know what I'm going to feel comfortable sharing once it's all said and done. I think I mentioned this somewhere. The bridesmaid dresses are red, but that's not really a color. There's nothing else that's going to be red. Everything else is pretty neutral. It's all just like browns and whites and creams and gold. And I know gold. I know you guys, but like gold, it looks better with everything. And that's like everything is made of gold now instead of silver. So I just felt like I had to lean into it. Fighting procrastination. Any advice? Typically, for me anyways, when I am procrastinating, it's because I'm overwhelmed and I have way too many things on the list and I need to trim it down. So take a new to-do list, a new notepad, a new planner page, and make a much shorter list. Start with the easy stuff, get an easy win, and then move into the other stuff. But have it be reasonable where you're going to feel accomplished at the end of it, not this unreasonable to-do list that you're never going to reach the end of. For me, that is what I find myself procrastinating from when it's that scenario. It's either overwhelmed, I have too many things on my list, or I don't want to do what is first on my list. So I'll pick a new first thing, make it easy, get my win, and then move into the other thing. When it comes to reading, do you find yourself getting distracted and wanting to scroll your phone? I've been putting my phone in another room, but even catch myself wondering what I'm missing. Yeah, I definitely have been there. I also will put my phone in another room. That's a really, really great tip. And just like set a timer and be like, I am going to read and start with a smaller step. And then you can go get up, go check your phone, and then come back and get back to reading, set another timer, and work your way up to not needing that. It'll get easier. We're all addicted to our phones. You're not alone. You are not alone. My coffee is like the perfect temperature now, you guys. It's delicious. We're also all addicted to caffeine. Sad. Andrea, will your kitty cat be part of the wedding festivities? So I posted this on Instagram the other day. I didn't share the details of it because the other thing about sharing before the wedding, and I shared something in yesterday's Day in the Life that I filmed. I don't want the people that are coming that do watch my videos and follow me on Instagram. I want them to be surprised. Like I don't want them to see everything. But our signature cocktail is named and fathomed after Charlie. So I love it. That's the only piece of it that really involves Charlie. But in an ideal world, she would be the ring bearer, but she's a cat, not a dog. How to deal with doing such small steps that I feel like I'm going backwards. I struggle to keep up with basic daily chores. The bigger things around the house are accumulating faster than I can keep up. So that first sentence, I just want you to remember small steps. You're not going backwards because if you are taking small steps, you're going forwards, right? You're moving in the right direction. And the difference is that if you tried to tackle these big things, you would tackle this big thing and then you would feel burned out or you would feel overwhelmed and then you would do nothing for a week and then you would cycle through that. The taking the small steps is going to be so much more sustainable over the long run and they will add up over time. In specifically related to the goal that you talked about, which is keeping up with daily chores and then bigger things around the house. What is the name of the book? Somebody hopefully will remember it. The book that Cindy did for her book club last year, at the beginning of last year, it is about cleaning, especially when you have some sort of chronic illness or thing that keeps you from cleaning and being on top of household things. I don't remember what it's called, but I will figure it out if somebody else doesn't remember it. That book I would recommend. No, Declutter at the Speed of Life is definitely a book I recommend if you're trying to declutter. This book was particularly about like cleaning, like in keeping up with household stuff. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you, Amy. Unf Your Habitat. That's what it's called. Yep. Thank you. I would highly recommend that book. That opened my eyes a lot to exactly what you were talking about. Kimberly, we are all basically cyborgs because of our addiction to phones. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? And I don't know, I don't know how to stop it. Yes, Courtney, small daily routines add up. For sure they do. Even if it feels like you're not. I know, like you said, MJ, that you feel like you're going backwards, but I promise you that you're not. You are moving forwards, even if it is very, very slowly. I know it can feel that way, but just keep swimming. What else is on your mind? What else are you struggling with? Oh, here we go. Did you ever play with the focus mode on your phone? No, I haven't yet. I went in there to do it multiple times and got very overwhelmed and decided I didn't feel like doing this right now. I think it got turned into one of those things that I'm going to do when I get back from the wedding. I was in the same rut with housework and I leaned into the clean mama routine. So I just focus on dailies and schedule other things. And after a week or two, it is a lot less to clean up with. That's awesome. Amanda, I had to go cold turkey with social media years ago, and I eventually got over the feeling of not knowing all the things, and I'm much less stressed. That's amazing. You're amazing. How has Tommyler been working for you? This is a great question, Cheney, and I talk a little bit more about it in the upcoming goals video, talking about since it was one of my daily habits was to track my time. I have still been using the app on my phone for the Tommyler app to track my time. I have not been using the actual little gizmo because I just found that I was forgetting to turn it or whatever. So talking about being addicted to my phone, I click my phone all the time. And so I just have been clicking it. And I love the little email summary they send me at the end of the week that says here's where you spent your time this week. I really like that. I like seeing how many hours I worked each day and each week, but I don't know what I plan to do with that information. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. And I talk about it in this video. So I have to figure that out to see if it's even worth it, or am I just tracking my time to track my time? And it's kind of pointless. Did you figure out your photo list? Andrea, no, I'm not done. I mean, I have like an initial version of it, and I just realized this morning talking to my mom on the phone that I forgot something. It is a balance between like making sure I get all the combinations that we want without it having unnecessary combinations just for the sake of like having them. Like I could do the logic problem and make every combination I could possibly think of, but is that necessary? Because I don't know that I need all of those combinations. And so trying to figure out like really some of it is logic and effort, and some of it is just like thinking and reflecting on, do I actually need that photo with that combination of people? Or like, who would use that photo? Who is that for? Is it for me? If it's for me, do I really need it? Etc. No, Amberly, I am just tracking work. It is just work and work tasks like within work. So how much time I'm spending on YouTube or Patreon or Instagram or all of those different things. Yeah. Jessica, I will have to thank Laken and the Plan with Laken community for helping me stay on track during a very difficult time in my life the past few months. Old me would have completely derailed from goals and routines. Jessica, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope that you are incredibly proud of you're the one that put in the work. I'm glad that we have been here to support you and help you through that, but you're the one putting in the work. And I hope you're proud of that. Cheney, I think having where spending time is good to know and better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Absolutely, for sure. Which is why I'm going to keep doing it for now, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the information yet. We'll see. Jennifer, has reviewing analytics been helpful for you in making progress in your business? Any interesting info? So almost the same thing as the time tracking. I'm enjoying it. The only thing that's happened was like one thing kind of spiked one week because I'm doing it weekly, and it allowed me to like go dig into why that thing had spiked, and it was really interesting. Otherwise, I haven't used it to make any decisions yet. It's just there and I have the information. But again, I guess I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So haven't used it yet to make any like informed decisions, but enjoying it. It doesn't take me that long, truthfully. Like now that I have the routine, it's probably like a 15-minute routine, truthfully. So it's pretty fast. Oh, speaking of phone, I'm dropping things. I was trying to uncross my legs and I like knocked my phone down and all the things. Oh, goodness gracious. Make sure you get a lot of candid photos too. Absolutely, Sarah. Our photographer is freaking the best. Like how our engagement photos turned out or any, I mean, they are. It is what is going to be what they will turn out like, but I'm really excited about it. Do you have something good planned for dinner? MJ, do you mean tonight? So I try to always do a crock-pot meal on Wednesdays. And it is, we're doing like a pork shoulder, an Asian style pork shoulder. Just got the recipe off the internet, trying it out, seeing how it goes. And if we like it, we'll keep it. And if not, I'll just delete it from my thing. Hannah, that is a really good point and advice. Tracking your time and then comparing how much income you're bringing in from those activities would give you good direction for your business. That is I don't know why I did not think about comparing the time tracking to the income. Well, really good advice. When building my routine and routinary, it feels weird to just start with one or two things. Is it still worth it to do? Amberly, I think so. And here's why. Number one, what you're doing here, yes, having routinary or an app like routinary, the benefits of like remembering all the steps is really helpful. But what you're doing here is you're starting the habit of clicking the start button on the routinary. That way, when you do have 3, 4, 5, if you're like me, like 12 things in a routine, you're already in the act of clicking start on the actual app. So 100%, I think it's worth it with just one or two things. And then you get to start your streak if you care about the streak. Yes, I've been asked this quite a few times if I'm going to go wild. No, it's the weekend before the wedding, and just for a number of reasons, couldn't make it work this year. I hope everybody has fun. I'm caught up. Any other questions? What else are you struggling with, or follow-ups to the other questions? Thank you, MJ. It does sound good. Also, it smells really, really good in our house. Also, I guess I could have finished. It's an Asian style pork in the crock pot that then I'm gonna put on lettuce wraps, like almost like yeah, lettuce wraps. That's the word I'm looking for. It reminds me of PF Chang's. Random question: what hair dye you use? I use the brand L'Oreal Feria, Feria. However, they do not carry my actual color in stores anymore. I cannot find it, at least in New York, to save my life. So I have to order it online, but it's fine. Unsolicited advice. Make sure you eat at your reception and make sure you have a change of shoes or socks in case you want to take off your shoes. So we do have plans to eat during cocktail hour. Since we're doing all the immediate family photos before the ceremony, we are going to eat during cocktail hour. I have already confirmed with our day of coordinator and the caterer that they are making us a plate, and it will be waiting for us in the bridal suite when we are done with the extended family photos. And then I don't want to spoil anything, but I am wearing very comfortable shoes that I don't anticipate having to change out of. I also, now that I say that out loud, maybe I bring a backup pair just to have, because sometimes just wearing the same pair of shoes for that long, regardless of how comfortable they are, could be uncomfortable. But hopefully I'm okay with in shoe world. Yeah, it actually is probably a really good thing that I am not a super shoe person and wanted really fancy wedding heels, because I don't think my foot's ready to be in a heel yet. So that kind of worked out. Amanda, I think I'm going to time track in my business because I think I'm actually making less than minimum wage with certain tasks. I'm not sure what I'll do with that info. Well, you might need to tell your clients that they need to start paying more for your time. And they will, because it's worth it. You've made it worth it. I think it's, I think you also have to decide if it is not a client thing, right? If it's a you thing, that you decide whether it's worth it. Because I think we talked about this once before on a live. That's well, what's the value of that business? Is it to bring in income? Is it to break even? Even if your time is less than minimum wage, then if it's to break even on your expenses of doing whatever that activity is that you're doing, on the amount that you spend on books, then maybe it's okay. If it's not about the time, then something to keep in mind. Knowing your worth is important in business and in life. Absolutely. Amen. What do you do when you get a little bored with the consistency of goals and want to spice things up? That's a great question. My biggest tip here would be to just try a different action step, right? There are so many ways to achieve a goal. There is not one path for every single goal. So if something isn't, and you're even saying that you're bored with consistency, not that action step isn't working, that's fine. Just because it's working doesn't mean that you're not bored with it. Try a different action step, do something different for a little bit, and then you can always come back to it. Think of a way that you can change it up so that you are still making progress towards that goal without doing the thing that you're bored of. You know what I mean? Amanda, it's for other tasks. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if sometimes, especially during when there's an hour-long vlog, during Vlogmas. But we're not there right now. Amberly, do you miss flipping back through your weekly planner and knowing the things you did? Not really. I didn't miss it last year anyways. So, ask me that when it's been a little bit longer. But for now, I think I'm okay. I can look back on my Instagram. I can look back on my Google Cal. I could look back on my phone, on my photos. I can look back in a lot of places. And while it is nice to have something physical to flip through, it wasn't worth the time and the money I was exchanging for it. That's for sure. Yes, We Should All Be Millionaires. Absolutely. Great, great book. What did you want to do for a job when you were a young child? Ever want to be something completely wild, or was it always pretty in line with what you did corporate or what you're doing now? No, before. So what I did corporate, I was an actuary. If you didn't know that, that became a thing when I was in 8th grade. I had to do a career project in 8th grade, and my mom recommended being an actuary, and I did the research, and that was what I did. Prior to that, it was all over the place. It was anywhere from a teacher to a dance teacher. I was going to be a normal teacher during a school teacher during the day, and then a dance teacher in the evenings. Then owning a dance studio with my best friend. At some point, a dance performer was in there as well. I wanted to be a Rockette. And what else? And all forms of teaching, also everywhere from an elementary school teacher to a high school math teacher. I really wanted to do that at one point, to a college professor. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I ever really wanted to do. Those are the big ones: teaching and dance. Amy, that's a really great reminder, is tracking things to have the data and have a lot of it. So in the future, I will have the information. Yeah. Rachel is starting a We Should All Be Millionaires course. Of course she is. Of course she is. Oh my goodness. This month has been a pretty bad month as far as my goals are. Just been so unmotivated and tired. I've tried everything to get back on track. How do I get back to being motivated? So I have a video that I filmed earlier that is coming in a few weeks that I think will really help with this, but it's not coming for a few weeks, and I want to help you now. But it is about momentum over motivation, and that if we continue to wait and try and get motivated, we're never going to be able to sustain our goal progress long enough to achieve our goals. I also just want you to give yourself the permission that some months are just lower goal progress months. Bad doesn't have to necessarily mean zero progress. It just means less, lower progress than you have had in prior months. And it's probably very expected that February is usually a lower progress month, especially compared to January, because January, we came out of the gate with all this excitement and we accomplished all these things. So the key to getting motivated is to kickstart the momentum. And the way to kickstart the momentum, which the video gives you a lot more tips on how to do this and a lot more examples, is just taking action. You've got to take action. So pick one goal, pick one action step, make it super, super small, make it really fun or exciting, something that you really want to do, and kickstart your action on that one thing. And then let that action lead you into momentum, which will lead you into motivation for your other goals. I hope that's helpful. How do you fight overwhelm and inaction due to overwhelm? I kind of gave this tip earlier when somebody was talking about procrastination from their to-do list. Cut it down. Cut it down. There's way too many. You're looking at too many things on your to-do list. Stop looking at such a big list. Take a separate piece of paper, take a separate Word doc, cut it down, cut your list down to just start with your top 3. Pick 3 things, and you're going to start on those 3 things. Monique came in late, so not sure if you discussed this. Can you explain how group coaching works? I did talk about this a little bit at the beginning. It's essentially the one-on-one coaching program. So those 8 sessions, but in group format. And so it will be, instead of 30 minutes, just you and me, you're going to have a little bit less time, and it's going to be in a group setting. If you have any other personal questions that you want to ask, come send me a DM or comment on the Patreon post. Amy, this is a great question. If I can only do one small action or habit for each goal, how do I pick that one thing to do? I have limited emotional capacity and energy, but can't afford to completely stop making progress. And that's not unique. Not saying that you're not unique, but you're not alone. Most of us don't have limited capacity and energy, and likely can only do one small action step or habit for each goal if you're working on multiple goals at one time. So I did a video about how to prioritize your goals. I would go back and watch that video, but listen to those steps with the mindset of the actions and think about how you can apply those things that I said. So I talked about start with the easiest one, or start with the one that's going to have the most impact, or start with, my brain is not pulling the rest of them out, but watch that video with that mindset of I'm applying these things to the action steps, not the goals. And then just start. I think one of the things that holds a lot of us back, and this can go to all of the people who ask about procrastination too, is we feel like we cannot start until we have picked the perfect, most accurate, right, best, insert awesome adjective here, whatever you want, step. There is no one right step. There is just a step that you're going to take to start making progress. So instead of spending time worrying and overthinking and trying to manipulate and like come up with all the pro cons to figure out which step you're going to take, just pick one, make it small, and get started. You can always, always, always change your mind. You have every permission to change your mind whenever you want on that action step. You can change it. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. You can, like I said, in February, I literally crossed the daily habit off. I was like, why do I keep thinking this is something I want to do? And I'm crossing it off, and I happen to add another one. You can always change your mind. So I hope that was helpful. I didn't mean for that to sound so like yelling at you. But I do feel like we spend a lot more time than is necessary thinking about what is the right step instead of just what is a step I could take and just picking one and going with it. Knowing that we can change our minds whenever we want because it's our life and we can do whatever we want when we change our minds. Kindle Unlimited has We Shall Be Millionaires. Amanda, does it have the audio version on Kindle Unlimited? Is that a thing on Kindle Unlimited audiobooks? Or am I making that up? Because I did read it last year, and I think I would love to listen to it. Yes, just starting is so important. Always trying to figure out the best way before I get going, and that turns into perfection and procrastination. And you're not alone. We all do this, and we sit and think about finding the perfect step. But if we spend all month trying to think of the perfect step, then we don't take any action and we don't make any progress. And I would rather us spend that time actually making imperfect progress, doing something, even if it isn't the best step, it's a step, and we're doing something that moves us forward, and we can always change our minds. You're going to learn so much from just starting that you will be able to apply to your goals for sure. There's some books on Kindle Unlimited that you can listen to on audio, but this is not one of them. Okay, thank you. I just signed up for Kindle Unlimited a couple weeks ago. Most Kindle books can be listened to with the Alexa app. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That is one of the best books I read last year in 2021. We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. I gifted it to all of my close female friends at the holidays because I think that's a great book. I mean, most of my close female friends have some sort of business also that they are working towards. So or business that they already own. So it was very applicable to them as well. But I do think everybody could benefit from it. Katie, this is a great question. How do you plan transition times, like times for your brains to switch tracks? I find I need to add more time for my brain to get ready or take breaks in between. First off, yes, that is very our brain needs time to switch tracks. We can't just it is very difficult to just go from one thing to the other. The way that I do it is I overestimate how long things are going to take. So that just builds in that transition space for me to be able to move on to whatever that next thing is. It also depends on what the task is, right? Some tasks take a lot more brain function for my brain to get into it than others. Like this one, my brain doesn't need that much time to get into the zone for this. So I can do something pretty much right up until 12:55 and then turn it off and click go. Other things, I definitely need that time to take breaks. Just schedule it. And then I think the biggest key here is being flexible to listening to what you need. And if you find that you need more breaks, add in more breaks. If you find that the break was too long, cut it back. And getting in tune with what you need. Your individual tasks and brain are going to be different than anybody else's. So what do you need? And then building in time for that, for sure. Yeah, there's a difference between the produced Audible version of the book and the Kindle audio. Interesting. Okay. Amanda's the expert about books. In case you didn't know, that's where I would go for book questions. That is where I go for book questions. Jennifer, I'm struggling with establishing a boring habit like brushing my teeth. How do we establish this routine when it's not something I like to do? I tried rewards, but nothing's working. Any suggestions? So you're not alone. Like there are lots of us who struggle with these quote unquote boring but necessary as adults habits. So a couple of things. Number one is, are you getting a check mark for that? I am so motivated by checking things off. If I am getting a check mark somewhere, that 100% motivates me. Number two, your specific example, like brushing teeth, what I find is that if I wait too long, then I'm exhausted, and I let my exhaustion be my excuse to not wanting to do it. So I just do it as soon as we're done with dinner. As early as possible, I brush my teeth while I still have the energy to do so. It also means I have the energy to like floss properly and do all of the other oral hygiene things that I need to do. But it's really about getting started. So focus on how you can remind yourself to do it. So is that a sticky note somewhere? Is that tacking it onto a habit that you do? Like in the mornings, maybe it's like after I finish my coffee and I put my coffee cup in the sink, then there's a sticky note by the sink that says, go brush your teeth, right? And that's how you do it in the mornings. Maybe at night, it's by your alarm clock, or when you go to plug your phone in, it's reminding you. Sometimes we don't do these boring habits because we just forget that they exist and we forget about them. So reminding yourself to go do them, getting some sort of check mark, and then stacking them on top of something that you already do is another really beneficial way to establish these. And just know that you're never going to be perfect. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to think that, well, if it's something so easy, I should be able to do it every single day and it shouldn't be a problem. That's not true. There are going to be days that you struggle to do these quote unquote boring, easy habits because life happens. And so if you miss a day, it's okay. You pick back up and you do something different the next day. You get back to it, and just accept that like we are not, as much as we are cyborgs and addicted to our phones, we're also human, and there is not something that we can do the same every single day. I hope that was helpful because I've been there. It's hard. My foot is asleep. Any other questions? Anything else that you're struggling with that you need help with? We're about to round the corner on a new month, which feels weird. I feel like we just did this. We just moved from February flew by, y'all. That's all. February absolutely flew by. So as we round the corner to the new month, make sure that you are scheduling in time to set up your goals for March. And whether if you're part of the Patreon community and you're doing that with us this weekend at our goal setting session that is on Saturday, or you are scheduling time to do it yourself, set up time to set up your action steps for the next month. Check in. It doesn't matter how February went. If February was the worst month and you did nothing, great. What are your goals for March? Pick one thing that you're going to focus on in March and then start taking action on that one small step in March. What is your best hot take about goal setting? I don't know if it's a hot take because you've heard me say it so many times, but I think that SMART goals are very overrated. Struggling with not taking naps. My sleep quality has tanked the last week. What has changed, Amy, that may have impacted your sleep quality? Most of the time, it's like, for me, it's what I'm eating or drinking, not getting enough sunlight, not drinking enough water, not getting in enough movement. Is there something that's changed that's impacted your sleep quality? And see if you can adjust that to help combat it. That sucks because sleep is so valuable to so many goals. It's amazing how getting good sleep will have a positive impact on so many areas of your life. Sleep is amazing, y'all. Our bodies do so many incredible things while we're asleep. It's so fun. So good. MJ, it's hard when that little rush of fun makes us do the fun stuff, but the boring habits, we have to do them without an instant reward. I mean, I know that Jennifer said that rewards don't work for her. I'm not above bribery and rewards in that moment to get you started, right? Like to get you going. And then eventually it becomes a habit and then you don't need the rewards anymore. But I'm not opposed to rewards and bribery to get you started on goals for sure. All right. It is almost time. If you have any last minute questions, pop them in. But I'm going to ask you our last question, which is, what is one thing that you will do this week to make progress on your goals? It doesn't have to be huge. What is one small step that you can take? Will, not maybe, not might, not if I feel like it, not if I don't procrastinate it. What is one small thing that you will do this week to make progress on your goals? Let us know down in the comments. If you are here live, let us know in the chat. And if you're watching the replay and you've made it this far, first off, you're amazing. Thank you. Let us know in the comments, what is the one thing that you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? Cheney, pick a name. So excited for you. I feel like the comments are slightly delayed. And so far, I only see Cheney's, but if anybody else is hopefully sharing their one small step that they're going to take towards their goals. Oh, there they are. Like, I knew they would all come in at the same time. Reset and plan after a major sickness. Carrie, I hope you're feeling better. Declutter and refresh your living room. Finish folding the laundry that I started during live. I also have a whole pile of laundry to fold today. Get ahead in school. Love that. Making sure clothing goes directly into the laundry bin. Ariel, that is amazing. Send in your taxes. Also a thing. The No BS challenge. Yep. If you want to sign up, the No BS challenge is free. It's free. There's going to be a lot of great content. And then surprise, surprise, at the end, she's going to ask you if you want to join her paid program. Order new glasses. Oh, that's a big one. That definitely will have an impact. Get all your laundry done before you go out of town. Love that. Increase your workout to 45 minutes. Jennifer, that's amazing. Vision board workshop on Saturday. Tackle the next two letters of the alphabet with your 5-year-old. That is amazing, Brooke. Watch the video for next week's group coaching session. Yes. Monthly reset. Look over yearly goals. Yes. Look at your yearly goals. Check in with them. Like, see how they're going. And you can also change your mind, even though it's only been 2 months. You're totally allowed to do that. Set March goals, treating it like a fresh start. I love that. Put your giant blanket in the wash. Oh, Heather, don't we all need to do that? Like washing the blankets? Oh, so not good at that. Get a new laptop. So excited for you. Attend the goal setting session. That is what I'm working on as soon as this is over. Going on a retreat since I can't go Wild. One of my goals this year was to take dedicated time for myself. I love that, Ashley. I love that. Work on your son's handwriting. That is amazing and fun. Attend the goal setting session. I love it. I'm very excited to talk all about our March goals. Y'all, you're amazing. Like, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for asking such great questions. And thank you for being willing to share your goals with our community. It is so, I think sometimes I take for granted how willing you are to share back with me and with everybody, and that it is so motivating to hear about everybody else's progress or lack of progress, that you're not alone. And I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would really appreciate that. And if you're new here, click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching.